Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the process of decorating my house with me for Halloween, Falloween, and all that fun stuff. So to start out with, this is one of two closets in our front entryway. One holds all of our coats, and this one actually holds probably about 8 or 9 of those giant plastic totes you see me pulling out. So half of them are our Christmas decorations, and the other couple are Halloween, spring, summer, and kind of miscellaneous things. I try to keep everything organized by holiday, just so then it's easy to pull everything out as I'm going along, and put it all back, and just helps me keep all of the holidays organized. So from here, I'm going to move on to our living room. We don't really use this room very much, only because there's really no natural light. The light that I have today is from our front door that I have open. Otherwise, that's about all that we get in that room. So I ordered this tree off of Amazon, and it was absolutely perfect for what I was hoping for and looking for. It's a tiny little black pencil tree. It's about 6 feet tall, and it's just really skinny, really kind of sparse, and it was exactly what I was looking for. So I kind of struggled with this tree a little bit when I was first putting it up, because a lot of the branches came twisted together. So I had to actually go through and untwist everything and, fluff it out and put it all together like what they do with a normal Christmas tree. Except this one also is partial tinsel. So some of the little branches have tinsel on them. So I had to pull all of that apart and do that as well. So I don't know if you saw in my haul video or not, but I found these purple string lights to put on it. And as you'll see here, I had to keep restringing, and I was struggling with it because since they were coiled up, they kept wanting to stay coiled. They didn't really want to actually work and be string lights like they needed to be. So you can see I'm redoing a lot. I want to say I probably had to redo this about 4 times, 5 times, only because, again, like, the lights kept coiling back up on each other, and they kept, like, getting doubled, and oh, it was just such a pain to have to fight with and to deal with. And I was thinking, it's this tiny little pencil tree, it should only take 2 strings of lights, right? And it did ultimately only take 2 strings of lights. But I think what I'm going to do is when I take it down, I may just leave the lights on the tree and then pack the tree. I don't think I'm going to use the same box that it came in. I think I am going to instead do, like one of those tree boxes where you can just fold it all up and put it in. So the next thing that I did here was the spider ribbon. So it looks like little spider webs, but it's like a white iridescent ribbon. So I wanted to do it vertically, so it kind of looked like the spiders were crawling up and down the tree rather than wrapping it around the tree. And I'm actually really, really happy with how it ended up turning out and looking. I got 2 spools of that ribbon, but I only needed 1. So I kept the other one, and I figured, you know what, I can use it in the future for maybe another tree or another project or something. So the next thing that I did was I put all of those fun little spoolie, spirally, springy things that I got in the purple, the orange, and the green on the tree, because I wanted those to kind of like stick out and kind of be a little bit crazy and haphazard looking, but still looking a lot of fun. Again, I wanted to keep this tree very simple. I didn't want it to look too Christmassy, but I wanted to have it keeping kind of that Halloween vibe. So those are the flowers that have the little eyeballs, and then I was working on just getting everything else stuck in, my little voodoo people, my little witch hat tree topper, and then at home last year, I found these mini sparkly ornament balls, and they came in purple, green, and black. So I did not put the black on the tree because obviously it's a black tree and you would never see it. But the purple and the green came in glitter and shiny. So I wanted to do that and just fill in any extra gaps that I had and really just make it look as nice as I possibly could, tree-wise and everything. And of course, at one point, the hubby's got to wander through and check things out, and he totally forgot that I was filming all of this. And as soon as I did that, he ducked right back out. So now it was time to decorate the mantle, and I had these little skull tea light holders that I just keep on our mantle all year round because we really like it. I was using that to weigh down the mantle scarves. So I got that. I really liked how it looked. I was really, really happy with how it turned out. So it fits the whole entire way around. So you have 3 of the bats in the front and then 1 on each side, which looked really, really nice. So then what I ultimately decided to do with this particular mantle was I took the pink rose arrangement and I put them rows to rows. And then the bows had wire on them, so I was able to wire those together. I had some little bleeding skull tea lights that I got at, can't remember if it was Spirit Halloween or Home Goods last year, that I put up on the mantle as well. A light up ombre pumpkin that I got last year. That little folding sign that I put up there a couple seconds ago, it says Halloween is a lifestyle. So I absolutely loved that. So, just putting out all of my pumpkins at this point. I have a whole bunch of different types of pumpkins. I've got pumpkins that are ombre. I've got pumpkins that have spikes on them. Pumpkins that look like they have spider webs wrapped around them. So at this point, I was just kind of playing with everything, seeing what I liked, seeing the arrangements that I liked. Pumpkins, I have some glitter skulls that I put out, some velvet skulls. And I ultimately decided that tiered tray that it was going to go on the dining room table, I liked how it looked better with that, with a couple pumpkins underneath, a candle, a skull, and a pumpkin on top in front of my mantle. So then I took the rope lights and I got those all wrapped around. Funny story about the rope lights. Couldn't get them to turn back on after I turned them off the first time. Apparently you have to be really, really close to the receiver for it to work. And it took me probably longer than I really want to admit to get it all figured out. But I was happy with how it looked. So then I went into the dining room and was clearing off the buffet. I don't know about you guys, but for us, the buffet does tend to be kind of the catch-all for mail, papers, pretty much anything that you can imagine. It does tend to be a catch-all when we just want to dump things. So it gave me a good chance to also clean a lot of that up, get rid of some things, go through things, and all of that. So you can see the vase there that I like to keep our wine corks in. We've been collecting that for probably the last 4 years at this point, and it's just about halfway full. So I was arranging that with I call them my Skella Divas. I got those from Grandin Road a couple years ago, but I really, really like them. And at this point, I think I'm just cutting tags off of everything because, of course, if you've ever bought anything from Michael's, you'll know that they love to put these little sticky tags on everything, and they're near impossible to get off, to be quite honest. So here I'm sticking the black roses, and I decided that the green feathers looked really, really cool in this vase with just the texture and the dimensions of everything. So now I'm just arranging it, seeing what looks good, what I like. I'm ultimately really, really happy with the outcome, and I have a picture, I think at the very end of this video, of how everything looks. So I'm just arranging all of those things. Still at this point in time, I have no idea where I was going to put the pink and purple leaves. So they're just kind of hanging out on the table while I figure out, because I loved them so much. I wanted to do something with them. I just didn't know what. I ultimately did figure out what to do with them and where to put them. But they did not end up in the dining room. So I'm finishing this arrangement, seeing how I really like it. Just fussing with it at this point. Because of the way that the stems were on all of those, it worked really well because they were able to go down into the corks, and the corks really stabilized everything. So this is the amber vase that I was talking about. It kind of looks like it was dripping, like almost like they formed the vase upside down and it dripped down. So usually what I do is, last year I had all these little mini pumpkins that I put into it, but this year, because I got the purple LED string lights, and I also got those little eyeballs I decided to mix in with the pumpkin, so it kind of looked like, it gave almost like a Hocus Pocus book vibe, like when Book opens its eyes and is looking out. That's the kind of vibe that it ended up giving off once I got everything put together. So was checking the lights, making sure that they worked, making sure I didn't forget any batteries and anything from last year, because I've done that before and it's not very fun to have to deal with all of that. So getting the lights put in and then getting the pumpkins. One of the interesting things I found out about these eyeballs is the eyeball itself is plastic, but the little eye, like the pupil area, is glass. So when I kept putting it into the container, they kept falling and rotating and shifting downwards. So you have to be really careful with how you place them, because they don't like to stay where, they're very top heavy. So they don't like to stay where you put them. So I was playing with them and just fussing with it a bit and being a little bit particular. But I feel like that's okay. So I'm just fussing with it at that point, figuring out. So I did ultimately end up putting two side by side up top. So if you look down into it, it looks like it's staring up at you, which kind of just made me laugh and made my husband laugh, and we really, really enjoyed. So at this point, I'm bringing in the Grandin Road light up spider branch, I guess you could call it, that I got. So I wove it in and around everything. And I really like how it looked. So it kind of does look like it's this creeping, crawling branch that's like wrapping around it. And it really gives it like an Addams Family look to the buffet. And I was really happy with how it turned out. I kind of wish I would have gotten a second one though. So then, lastly, I moved into our family room, which is basically where we spend all of our time. So it actually used to be an outside patio, but then was enclosed by the previous owners. So that's kind of why it's a little bit darker and everything, just because the back of the house was painted gray. So the one wall we have is completely gray and it feels a little bit darker. So this is the main mantle that we utilize most of the time. And that skull picture that's sitting on the mantle is something that my husband found. I think he found it on Touch of Modern. I can't remember exactly where he found it, but we pretty much have that up all year round. The picture to the left is actually a Sorcerer Mickey drawing that I got at, I think, Art of Disney at Disney Springs. And then the one to the right of the skull picture is actually a mandala that my husband drew. So we have those up all year round. And then when we were in Orlando, oh my gosh, in 2019, so last summer, we went to Universal Studios and we each got wands at Wizarding World, and we have the wand stand. So we have that up all year round too. So I figured, what perfect Halloween decoration than, our Harry Potter wands and the wand stand. So I put that in the center, and it's also, because it's heavier, it's also holding up part of the mantle scarf, because that thing does not like to stay put very much. So I have that up there. And then at the far left, there's a Captain Phasma mug that we got from a Star Wars dessert party. So Captain Phasma is also holding up the the mantle scarf. At this point, I'm trying to cut all of the tags off of everything, and the lights that you see are the hubby playing video games while I'm doing this. So we are chatting, playing video games, having a good time. On the fireplace above the fireplace below the mantle, I found this cute little haunted house, like almost like a flat thing, not like a flat lay, but it's like a little flat haunted house at Target at the end of the season last year. So I've got these little clear skull lights, and I just kind of wrapped it around the fireplace and the haunted house because I thought that would look just really adorable and really cute and kind of like frame everything without being too much. So if you look to the right of me, I did find a place for those leaves. So that's a copper, brass, metal, not quite sure, container that we usually keep like our fire starters in for the wintertime when we do light a fire in our fireplace. So what I did was I had an extra one of those black rose stems. So you can see me putting it in there with the leaves. and just arranging everything. I wanted to kind of look like it was just left there and forgotten there almost, even though it was done intentionally. Oh, so at this point, I'm just doing finishing touches, I would say. Making sure that lights and stuff are on and working, making sure that things I had taken off the mantle were getting put back on and placed correctly. And now what I'm opening is a skull projector that we got at Target at the end of the season last year as well. I didn't really have a place to plug it in because it projects like bats and stuff. But I thought it would look really cool sitting beside the mantle on the bookshelf. Kind of like staring out at you almost a little bit. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. I had some extra lights I was going to kind of wrap around everything, but I ultimately decided not to. I felt like this looked very Addams Family. It looks Halloween, it looks fall, but it doesn't look crazy. So here you have all of the final finishing touches with all my lights on, all the pumpkins are on. I did decorate my Cinderella's castle and my Hogwarts castle with lights, so you'll see that here in a minute, but just wanted to give you like the close-up of all my pumpkins and a little amber skull. That's the sign that says Halloween is a lifestyle. You can never go wrong with like a disco skull next to a pink light-up pumpkin, I don't think. But yeah, so that is my Halloween tree, all my Halloween decorations. This is how we made the house look. We really go for that like purple and black and green vibe a lot of the time. Cinderella's castle looks like not so scary Halloween. Hogwarts looks like it's ready for a party. And so yeah, so ultimately I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I really, really like how the flowers and everything worked. I like how the colors all work together, and just I'm ready for fall. It feels like fall at this point, even though it's still 80 degrees out during the day. So yeah, so that is my decorate for Halloween with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you follow along on Instagram for even more fall stuff. Subscribe, hit like, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Bye.